Royal Enfield, the oldest motorcycle brand that you can buy today. Pero bibilin mo ba? Yan ang tanong ko sa sarili ko 3 months ago nung naghahanap ako ng motor. Enters the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 developed by Harris Performance sa UK. Sa mga hindi pa nakakaalam, ang Harris Performance ay isang shop na nagfo-focus sa mga race bikes. So chassis development, engine management, sila yung nag-design ng chassis nito, pati sa engine. My opinion guys, this is the way of Royal Enfield sa pag-invite sa mga new breed ng riders, myself included. Boy sports bike ako noon eh. Ang GT535 ay in-introduce noong 2014 pero phase out na siya ngayon. Pinalitan nitong GT650 na I think was launched 2018 or 2019. So anyway, I got this bike noong February 2021 pero I think this is still a 2020 model kasi yung mga 2021 model nila ngayon, naglabas sila ng may mga bagong kulay na. Actually, parang kulay lang naman yung iniba eh. Para sa akin, I think they've already fine-tuned the ECU tuning, chassis, engine, yung mga small bugs and glitches. Sa tingin ko naman, inaayos na nila kasi kung bagong kulay na lang yung nilabas eh, di ba? The 648cc parallel twin engine feels very smooth. Very refined, ibang-iba na siya kumpara sa mga na-associate ko usually sa mga Royal Enfield. Na para sa akin kasi dati, ang stigma ko sa Royal Enfield, ma-vibrate. Ito, pinong-pino na siya with very minimal engine vibration. Air and oil cooled lang siya, hindi siya liquid cooling. With a 270 degrees firing order sa crank to give it its distinctive sound. The twin cradle tubular frame is very solid kasi race chassis developer nga, di ba, yung gawa ng Harris Performance. So it feels very solid, it feels very secure. Single overhead cam siya, so not as rev happy as the dual overhead cams ng mga ibang motor. These red lines at 7,500 RPM, pretty sufficient in my opinion for what it is, a retro classic cafe racer looking bike. Unfortunately, power figures are not race bike specs ngayong 2021 kasi most ng mga 600 to 650cc ngayon, inline and parallel and V-twin, usually they produce around 80 up to 100 horsepower, di ba? Lalo na yung mga inline 4 na 600cc sports bike. This, however, only has 47 horsepower at 7,200 RPM with 52 Nm of torque at 5,250 RPM. For me, para siyang Ninja 400 or baka Super 4 minus syempre the high-revving, screaming inline 4 engine. For me, this is a chill cruising bike. Then again, yun naman ang purpose ko sa kanya eh. Pamalengke, panghatid-hatid, tapos weekend stroll within the speed limit. Hashtag adulting na eh. However, what I appreciate about this bike is the very linear power delivery. Power comes as early as 2,500 RPM. Mararamdaman mo na yung torque niya doon eh. So hindi mo siya kailangan i-todo rev ng sagad, i-high rev tulad ng mga pag naka-inline 4 ka. It's very linear all the way up to the red line. Below 5,000 RPM, very behave siya, very manageable. And then above 5,000 RPM, doon mo maaalala na nga pala. Big bike nga pala. The Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 saka yung kakambal nito na Interceptor 650, they both have a 6-speed gearbox. First yata yun sa Royal Enfield. And I think they use a straight cut gears. Kasi may distinctive whining sound siya pag umaandar eh. Na yung whining sound na usually na-associate ko siya sa mga race car, sa mga race bike. So I'm not sure pero I think it is a straight cut gears. At kahit first time nila gumawa ng 6-speed transmission, I can say that this gearbox is very precise, smooth, and delicate. So pwede ka dito magtamad shifting, pwede ka mag-preload shifting, pwede ka rin mag-clutchless shifting. Na usually para sa akin yung clutchless shifting, mas okay siya gawin pagka mga higher gears na eh. 4 to 5, 5 to 6, mga gano'n, no? Very smooth, walang kasabit-sabit. Stopping power is provided by Brembo. So I think they are a subsidiary of Brembo. So it is a Vibre from India. I think this is also the one that comes equipped with KTM natin, yung mga Duke 390. 320mm disc sa harap, tapos 240 dito naman sa likod. Tapos they are both paired to a Bosch dual channel ABS, so for extra safety. Pero kung ako tatanungin nyo guys, I really wish na dalawa yung disc brake na nilagay nila dito sa harap. If not for anything, at least for forma lang. I mean, yung single gumagana naman. Napapahinto naman niya ng maayos yung motor. Siguro repair na rin natin kasi yun sa engine braking niya. So if I were to classify the engine braking power of this bike, it would be moderate to hard. Moderate to strong rather. The levers, brake and clutch, they are not adjustable. Siyempre, medyo kailangan pa rin magtipid. Pero you can always go for aftermarket kung talagang gusto mo yun. No? Pero for me, it fits nice. And talking about the clutch, this has assisted and slipper clutch. So assisted meaning magaan siya. I mean, hindi naman siya sobrang lambot. I think for me, it has the perfect amount of tension pag gagamitin mo yung clutch niya. Not too soft, not too hard pull then. And then slipper clutch, so in case na hindi ka perfectly nakapag downshift rev match, hindi naglalak yung rear wheel niya kasi nga naka-slipper clutch siya. So again, that's also nice. Pwede ka medyo tatamad-tamad downshifting. Pero syempre, as much as possible, practice pa rin tayo ng downshift rev match para syempre, sayang yung skill na yun pag nawala, di ba? Yung brake lines niya, still braided now. So very, very nice. Kasi ang steel braided lines, they are usually higher performance compared sa mga regular na brake cable. Kasi yung normal na brake cable, though they work naman, pero upon heavy usage, pag umiinit na yung brake oil, no? Brake fluid, sorry. Minsan nag-expand yun eh. So, eto, hindi mo na kailangan mag-upgrade into a steel braided line kasi naka-steel braided line na siya. Sa shocks naman tayo, usapang shocks. The front shock is a 41mm telescopic fork with a 110mm of travel. Unfortunately, it is non-adjustable. The rear naman is a dual piggyback rear shock with 88mm of travel. Adjustable dito guys yung kanyang preload yata ang tawag dito. For the rider's height, kung halimbawa mag-isa ka lang, with passenger ka. Pero for daily use within the city, I have no complaint whatsoever sa kanya. The ride is pretty supple. It soaks up the bump of the city quite nicely. Pero kung magre-race track ka or performance riding, I think this could be a part for you to upgrade. I think you can always install all-ins suspension or kung ano man trip nyong suspension dyan, no? Pero for everyday use, city riding, mag-isa or dalawa kayong sakay nito, I have no problem with it whatsoever. Sa gulong naman guys, this is equipped with an 18-inch harap-likod seat tire. Yun yata pronunciation, seat. I actually prefer the tire that came for the 2019 model. Naka-Pirelli sila Pirelli Sports Comp. Pero this 2020, nag-Seat na sila. Seat o Seat? Not sure about the pronunciation. Pero it works okay naman. It grips fine, rain or shine. Pero syempre, kunwari brand conscious ka, di ba? Or if not, the design. I personally prefer the design of the Pirelli Sports Comp. Pero, you can always change that naman. So, 100 by 90 sa harap, tapos 130 by 70 naman dito sa likod. Ngayon, para sa akin kasi guys, bagay na bagay itong pagka-spoke wheels niya para sa overall retro and classic design. Kasi I don't think babagay dito, in my opinion, yung naka-tubeless ka na mags. I like the design of the retro-looking spoke wheels, though it comes with a price, which is, syempre, hindi siya tubeless, meron niyang interior sa loob, or aka tube tire, which, for me, okay naman. It's the compromise that you have to live with for the spoke design. Hindi naman tayo naka-BMW. Based on experience, nagbabawas siya ng hangin eh. I think it drops around 1 to 2 PSI per week. So, keep that monitored na lang. Yung harap is 32 PSI recommended by the factory. Tapos sa likod naman is 36. Pagka solo ride ka, 39 naman daw pag may angkas. Daw ako, 36 PSI lang yung ginagamit ko sa likod. And it works fine naman for me. So isa rin pala na pwede maging problem pag ikaw ay naka-tube or naka-interior, syempre, pagka na-flatan. Mas hassle ipa-vulcanize or ipa-repair yon pag naka-interior ka as compare sa tubeless lang. Pero, well, is pogi. So before ko lang makalimutan, meron siyang toolbox dito sa side na to. So it has your basic tools naman that you would need in case of, The weight of this bike is 198 kilograms. Medyo mabigat siya pag naka-stand still, di ba? Pero once naman you get into its balance point, tapos umaandar ka na, hindi mo na mararamdaman yung bigat. I think 198 kilogram is, ando siya sa moderate to heavy side when it comes to bike. And then the seat height for this particular model is 798 millimeter. Kasi yung Interceptor, yung twin nito, I think it's almost 800 eh. So for reference guys, I am 6'1". Wala naman akong problema sa kanyang i-flat foot siya with both feet. Again, I am 6'1", and this is the riding position niya for me. I just, yan, ganyan siya. Again, like I said, once nilagay mo naman na siya dun sa kanyang balance point, syempre hindi mo na mararamdaman yung bigat ng mga motor. And then once you go, it becomes very nimble, very light, very agile. Again, for city use, pagka nandito na ako sa city, panghatid-hatid, pamalengke, like I was saying, di ba? Makakasingit-singit ka naman, pero ako kasi personally, tamad ako sumingit-singit as much as possible. Eh. So, I have to live with the fact that the engine, it gets warm. It gets pretty warm pagka ikaw ay na-stuck sa traffic. Pero hindi naman siya blistering hot, hindi naman siya sobrang init. At hindi siya kasing init ng mga naka-liquid cooled na motor. Kasi this is, again, air and oil cooled lang. So wala siyang radiator fan na bumubuga ng mainit. Talagang mararamdaman mo sa binti mo, di ba? Ito, hindi eh. Saktong init lang. Mararamdaman mo lang na, ito, traffic ka na, ganun. Siyempre, kung mapapansin natin guys, this has a clip-on style para sa kanyang cafe racer look. I personally prefer clip-on, so there's that. Kaya kung bakit hindi ako naka-Interceptor. Pero yung clip-ons nito, it's slightly elevated eh. Medyo mas mataas siya ng konti kumpara sa mas sub-sub na clip-ons. So I think this feels like a CBR 150. Parang ganun siguro yung riding geometry or riding position niya. Para sa akin So hindi siya masyadong sub-sub. Hindi siya sobrang aggressive katulad ng mga sports bike na ZX6R, R6, mga ganun. Hindi. Very, well, I could say relaxed para sa akin kasi mas sanay ako doon sa mga naka-sub-sub na di ba, boy sports bike na noon eh. This feels very relaxed for me kasi as with any bike na ganito, you ride it by gripping the tank para wala kang weight dapat sa kamay, di ba? Kung mag-isa ako, wala akong nagiging problema as compared pag may angkas. Hindi ko alam bakit hindi nila ginagamit itong grab rail sa likod eh. So pag umangkas sila sa'yo, wala kang choice kundi maramdaman yung bigat ng pasahero mo. I guess yung mga naka-sports bike dyan, familiar kayo sa sinasabi kong bigat ng pasahero nyo. Itong rear set niya sa likod, medyo nasa aggressive side siya ng positioning, medyo bent up. Pero again, sanayan yan I guess eh, depende siguro sa height mo, saka sa built nung structure ng legs mo and katawan, di ba, in general. Kasi for me, baka pwede pa ako sa mas aggressive ng konti eh. So for me, this is again, moderately aggressive. Personal opinion ko lang, it looks like a cafe racer. It has the comfort of a cruiser kasi yun yung madalas ginagawa ko sa kanya, pa cruise lang. And it has a cornering clearance of a sports bike. Why do I say that? Kasi kung mapapansin natin yung exhaust niya na naka-upswept pataas, it gives you more clearance pag ikaw ay lumiliko. And as of now, as of today, hindi ko pa rin nasasaya itong foot pegs niya. So I really like that. Hindi ako masyadong natutuwa doon sa sensation pag nakakasayad ako ng metal parts sa ano eh. So, I like that. I like that. Twin analog gauge with fuel indicator. So, it's okay naman. Pero yung fuel indicator niya hindi masyadong accurate. So, old school method pa rin tayo. Refill, full tank, tapos i-reset mo na lang yung trip meter para ma-monitor mo. This fuel tank is only 12.5 liters. It is smaller kumpara sa Interceptor na mas malaki yata ng konti yung kanyang fuel tank. And then mileage, kung talagang concerned kayo guys, city riding, as in purely city, this average around 16 to 17 kilometers per liter. Pure highway naman, walang traffic, the best I got is 26 kilometers per liter. So on the average siguro, I think this bike would averagely do 19 up to 20 kilometers per liter. So, syempre may magtatanong dyan ng top speed, no? Pasok naman yung top speed niya sa requirement ng mga top speed nung 1960s or 1950s na 100 miles per hour or 160 kilometers per hour. So again, hindi siya race spec. Pero, you know, kung top speed or high speed riding ang hinahanap mo, this kind of bike would not really benefit you kasi very naked, wala siyang fairing. And then the engine is very chill. I think this is a very honest bike. Kung ano nakikita mo sa kanya, yun siya. It's not deceiving. It's not trying to be something that it's not. It's a very simple, retro classic motorcycle which is cafe racer inspired with the clip-ons and rear set, no? Very simple bike, wala siyang mga ride mode, wala siyang anti-wheelie, wala siyang hydraulic clutch, cornering ABS, wala. Lahat yun, wala. This is a very simple bike and like I said kanina, the only techy thing about this is that it has ABS, harap and likod, dual channel, and then fuel injected na syempre. With this overall theme of simplicity, retro, classic, no? Siguro I would be the rare few na ayoko siyang magkaroon ng LED headlight or tail light for that matter. Kasi I think the halogen fits the character of the overall bike in general. Hindi ko yung babaguhin. I like it as is. So again, this is for me a retro classic looking bike with a modern engine of course, na EFI, na alam natin na mag-start anytime as compared sa mga naka-decarb pa nung mga unang panahon. So it has that, you know, reliability factor that I like about it. By the way, talking about mag-start anytime, this bike comes with a 3-year unlimited mile warranty. So kahit ilang kilometer yung takbuhin mo, within 3 years, under warranty siya ng Royal Enfield. So at least, di ba, wala kang isipin masyado. 3 years warranty. Usually, yung iba, 1 or 2 years lang eh. So, if you want to feel if this bike is for you, pwedeng mag-test ride. Wag lang yung motor ko. Pasyal tayo sa Royal Enfield dyan sa Bagtikan sa Makati. Saka meron na rin silang branch ngayon sa Bulacan eh, sa may Kawayan yata yon. They offer free test ride. Wala kayong babayaran, magdadala lang kayo ng lisensya saka helmet. So matatry nyo to, GT650, yung kakambal nito na Interceptor 650, may mga Meteor, Himalayan. So maybe baka mahanap mo dun yung Royal Enfield na para sa'yo. The price for the GT650 starts at... Mamaya na presyo, madali lang presyo. Depending sa kulay na kukunin mo, sa design ng tangke, saka ano, no? So I would be lucky that I love black, so I got the cheapest one for the GT650. So anyway, yun lang siguro muna ngayon guys. Let's go for a quick ride. Hanap-hanap tayo ng mga pambirol, no? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like naman dyan. Kung may mga tanong kayo, comments or suggestion, leave down sa comment below. Tatry kong sagutin. And then as always, kung di pa kayo nakasubscribe at gusto nyo naman yung mga content natin about cars, bikes, general, di ba? Feel free to subscribe guys. Libre ang subscription. Parang yung test ride sa Enfield. So anyway, yun lang muna guys. Signing out for now. And see you on our next vlog.